I'm back. I hope you've all been doing well. I didn't get a chance to record for you through August. We were moving and it's been a really unsettled time. But now that we're at the end of August, we have finally got settled into our home. Some of you may know I've been living in Europe, in Belgium, for the last couple of years, and my husband's contract was recently up. And so we relocated back from Belgium to our home in Ontario, in Canada. So that's what I've been up to over the summer. I'm now settling back into work and kind of regular life, getting ready for a full September and getting back into the swing of things with teaching. I'm also in a position to get back into recording our aspect of the week videos. And so that's what I'm going to do here. The aspect that I've chosen to talk about in these early days of September is Mars opposite Neptune. So that's the aspect I'm going to have a look at today for you. This aspect is forming from Mars at 22 Virgo to Neptune at 22 Pisces. It's going to be at its strongest on Thursday, the 2nd of September. If you're in Canada and the US, you'll feel this most strongly on Friday, September 3rd, if you're in Australia. If you're in Europe, it's overnight, Thursday evening into very early Friday morning. So this aspect is going to create some confusion, a quality of delays, perhaps uncertainty, and qualities of like lethargy or tiredness. So I want to tell you a little bit more about that and how you can manage it. But I also wanted to take a moment and just check in and see how you are all doing, because it's been a beat since we all caught up. So let me know via the comments below what you've been up to over the last couple of months. Have you been able to have some time off? Has it been a stressful time for you? Have you had something major going on like me? Did you move as well? Or have you had some upheaval in your own life? Definitely love to hear how you've been tracking over these last couple of months. I also want to let you know about my next mentoring program, which is coming up starting Wednesday, September 8th. This is a group mentoring program. And the theme for this year is astrology as a business. So if you're a senior astrology student or you're newly starting your own astrology practice and you want some tips and guidance about how to set yourself up for success, I hope you'll check out my group mentoring program starting September 8th. I do group mentoring just once a year, always in the second half of the year. So this is your one and only chance to join a small group of people that I'll be working directly with. We're going to meet every 2 weeks, starting September 8th, right through to the end of the year. We're going to cover all kinds of things from client and practice management, how to share about and promote your business, how to manage things from a pricing and a money perspective inside your business. So we're going to have lots of opportunity to cover some of those really practical things that you need to know, in addition to knowing great astrology. We'll also have a chance to explore how to talk about stuff with clients, especially if it's really good stuff or really challenging stuff. So it's quite a comprehensive program. We're going to meet every 2 weeks, right through from September 8th till the end of the year. I'll put the link for this below. So if you do want more information, you can pop over and sign up today. So they are my important messages out of the way. As you can see, I've got a new background. I'm in my new old home office. This is the office that I worked in up until 2019 before we went overseas. And now I'm back. So it's great to be able to connect with you all from here. And even though I'm feeling really good about fresh starts and new beginnings, the aspect that I want to tell you about today, this Mars opposite Neptune aspect, is actually a little bit of a slower, kind of slightly messy, a little bit muddled aspect. When I was looking at this week, so this was the week starting Monday, August 30, and it's that transition week, last few days of August, first few days of September. And there's a lot happening at the start of this week for me and for us, but at the end of the week, there was just absolutely nothing. And every time I tried to put something into the calendar for the end of this week, it just kind of fell through. And then, of course, when I checked my own monthly astrology guide calendar, I was like, of course, Thursday is Mars opposite Neptune day. And this aspect only happens once every 2 years. Mars is the planet that we usually look to for motivation and confidence and determination and drive and enthusiasm. But when Mars passes into an opposition or even a square or a conjunction aspect with Neptune, Mars really slows down. It's like instead of moving forward in a steady way, he's spinning his wheels or he's going off on tangents that don't lead anywhere, that end up being a dead end, and he has to come back. So when Mars opposes Neptune, we all might feel a little bit lost or a little bit dazed and confused. You're less likely to be productive. Neptune is a planet that reminds us that we're a human being, not a human doing. And when Mars in Virgo, of all places, a sign that loves to be productive, opposes Neptune, there is going to be a slower quality. So you may not get as much done. Now, while this aspect peaks on Thursday, Friday, if you're in Australia overnight, it's really going to flavor about 48 hours. And I think we could safely say Thursday, Friday as a whole. It is in North America, where it's Thursday, Friday before a long weekend. So that adds to this kind of maybe lack of focus, shall we say. And so the potential to feel a bit discombobulated or a little bit out of your regular routine or rhythm is really strong. Now, in an ideal world, when we see an aspect like Mars opposite Neptune, we'd take a break. We'd clear our schedule. We'd go to the beach for the day, or we just chill out on the couch with a good book or maybe a movie. But we don't live in a world where we have that control over our schedule, or many of us don't, I should say. And so what you need to have some understanding of is that other people around you might be giving mixed messages or not sending clear directions. You might not be giving clear directions or clear communication. If you can give yourself space to do spiritual things or creative things, that's going to be a little bit helpful because you want to go with the flow. When Mars is opposing Neptune, we have to have a level of flexibility and a level of fluidity because we may not be as diligent with time management or with details or with organization as we normally are. And I've got a quote that I'm going to read to you, which I think really captures the quality of Neptune. And because a big planet like Mars, one of our superior planets opposing Neptune, this is a significant aspect that we're not dealing with all the time. This quote is by Takopa, and this is a beautiful writer that I've encountered just via social media on Instagram, and I just love her writing. So I'm going to read it. It's not tiny short and it's not super long, but there's something of substance here. So bear with me while I read this out for you. So much of the creative process is about uncertainty. Like a fog we must pass through, there's a length of confusion that precedes originality. I think of this fog as initiatory in nature, turning back those who can't withstand the uneasiness of not being able to see the horizon. But anyone who has passed through bewilderment enough times knows that the fog is really a sacred shroud, giving us refuge from the outside world so we can finally turn towards ourselves. Shifting our allegiances from the outer to the inner life begins with a kind of clearing work. In order to discern our own voice from the collective, or what I like to call other people's information, we need to have a clear container. Like draining a pool and discovering sediment and debris, our psyches can get cluttered with outer influences, and it takes patience and dedication to render it ready for new ideas. So much of the creative process is clearing this pool so we can discern what values, ideas, and instincts are native to our own experience. And that's by Takopa Turner. Some of the pieces of this that I really think encapsulate the Neptune experience is this fog of confusion. It's an analogy or an image that I share with clients in session all the time who are having a Neptune transit. And I often talk about how it's like you're driving along a road at night and a fog comes in. And you think about, what do you do in response to that fog when you're driving? One of the first things most of us will do is slow down. Most of us are not going to move as quickly. And because the fog is blocking our ability to see things, we're kind of inching forward, mostly by instinct, because the power of sight has been removed from us, or the power of external sight, we should say. And so this quote really speaks to how learning to navigate with that foggy feeling or that lack of clear sight about what's next is part of this Mars-Neptune experience. It's actually part of every Neptune transit. So if transiting Neptune right now is affecting a part of your personal birth chart, this will also be relevant for you. So we have to slow down. And instead of trusting what we can see with our eyes, we have to draw on the subtle senses, our instinct, our felt sense, our intuition. And when Mars opposes Neptune, that's what we have to do as well. We can't be as logical or as factual as Mars in Virgo might like to typically be. And we're going to have to draw on that belly wisdom, that sensory space inside of us that doesn't always make sense and doesn't always show up on command. The way to get in touch with those subtle senses or that inner wisdom is to slow down, to get still, and to really make space. And so that quote is kind of speaking to that if we want to get to know what's inside us, sometimes we have to temporarily disconnect from the outer world so that we can go within to make sure that we're putting our passions and our energy and our drive and our determination, all of those wonderful Mars things, that we're putting them into a pathway that means something to us as an individual and is not just a pathway that other people expect us to be going down. So this Mars opposite Neptune, in the confusion or the slowness or the delays, you may have some time or some moments where you can be with yourself in a deeper way than what you normally are. And that's what I hope for you, that either you're able to choose and create that, or you're able to grab that on the fly where you can. Because having that quiet time with yourself will help you reorient and reset your compass or your direction, so that as we come out of this Mars-Neptune opposition, as we head into the weekend, you'll have a clearer sense of not just where you're going, but that deeper, why am I doing this anyway? And so if you're lacking a little bit of that right now, the way forward may not be more conversations and more data and more theories. It may be some meditation or time to be creative or do something artistic, to just be out of time with a hobby or a pastime that you can get lost in. It doesn't have to be a typical creative hobby like painting or pottery. It could be doing a jigsaw puzzle or taking a walk in your favorite park, something where you're kind of allowing yourself to be a little disembodied, to be off the clock, not on a schedule, so that your inner self or your higher self can kind of get in touch with you. So I know this sounds a little bit ethereal and very woo-woo, but we are talking about the planet Neptune. So let's maybe reduce our expectations of the amount of things we're going to get done on Thursday or even into Friday. Let's see if we can slow down. Let's see because slowing down when there's a fog means you don't miss a bump in the road or you don't miss the turn that you wanted to take. So going slow is a great solution for this at the end of the week. There are two things that I think are great remedies, if you like, for the planet Neptune. One of them is music. So if you're feeling in a bit of a funk or you're feeling quite flat or a little bit lethargic or lacking motivation on Thursday, put some music on, whether it's just something mellow. It'll have a groove or a rhythm that will help you. If you want to pep yourself up, grab your favorite, song, whatever that might be. We all have different musical tastes. So you can let us know in the comments below what that kind of pep up song might be for you. Or if you find that you've got a lot of emotion that you're trying to churn through or process, then get the music that will match your mood. So music's a great remedy to have on hand when there's a lot of Neptune energy about astrologically. And the other thing is water. Now, in addition to hydrating yourself and making sure that you are drinking lots of water, what I'm actually referring to here is time on, in, or near water, whether that's treating yourself to a longer shower or a soak in a bath, whether that's getting to the beach, the river, the lake. Being on, in, or near the water is going to help kind of soothe you. Neptune has that very flowy kind of waves rolling in, waves rolling out vibe, and just being in the presence of that can be very calming. Getting the water on your skin is a great way to help you manage any feelings of overwhelm, because that's unfortunately one of the possible difficulties of an aspect like Mars opposite Neptune, is having lost a sense of what's practical or reasonable and being a little bit overwhelmed by being pulled in too many directions at once. So that may happen. If it does, it's not the end of the world. But if you catch yourself feeling like a little out of control or overwhelmed or really sensitive and emotional, get in the shower, get in the bath, get the water on your skin. It will do a couple of things. It will help bring you back into your body, and it will help bring you back to yourself. But it'll also serve as a symbolic and a little bit of an actual cleansing type thing, just to make sure if you've picked up the fears or worries of others in your day on Thursday, that you can release them so that, again, you can come back to yourself, so that you're not overwhelmed by other people's stuff. We all get a little bit more sponge-like when Neptune is active, and we have to make sure that we're picking up on inspiration from people around us and not some of their fears and worries, because I don't know about you, but I have enough fears and worries of my own. I don't need to take on other people's. And that's where some of these spiritual rituals and grounding rituals and cleansing rituals come in. Some of you probably do these as part of your regular self-care rituals or practice on a day-to-day or weekly basis. And even if you don't, it's really important to perhaps do something on Thursday or Friday when Mars is in this opposition to Neptune, because we're all going to be a little bit more of a sponge picking up on stuff around us. So hopefully that gives you a few ideas and insights about what's happening astrologically this week that I think is important. It's not the only thing happening this week. We have a really useful Mercury trine Saturn aspect happening on Saturday, September 4. And I talk a lot about that along with all the other aspects of the week in my monthly astrology guide subscription, which you can find out more via my website, kellysastrology.com. I'll pop the link for that below. If you like videos like this, you'll love the astrology subscription, because in that I share videos that talk about every aspect that's happening each day, each week, and each month. So we look at the full moon, the new moon, we look at planets changing signs, and we look at all the aspects that are being formed between the planets. It's a great tool if you're interested in learning astrology, or you want to know what's happening in the sky and you want to practice applying that to your own chart. So let me know how this Mars opposite Neptune aspect might be affecting you. Are you feeling some of the general themes of that tiredness or the confusion or the overwhelm? Are you getting distracted or going off on a tangent and just giving yourself permission to play? Do you need to give yourself extra rest or slow down? Is this aspect triggering something in your personal birth chart? 22 degrees Virgo to 22 degrees Pisces. Does that activate a planet or an angle like your ascendant or midheaven? Let us know via the comments below. And my final question to you all, because I know so many of you have been so patient with me over the last few weeks while I was just swept up in the moving tunnel, I'm curious to know what it is you want more videos on as we go forward. At this time of the year, I'm starting to think about the rest of the year and even doing a little bit of forward planning for 2022. So what are the astro questions or transits or topics that you want to hear more about? Let me know via the comments below, and I'll do my best to use them as inspiration for videos going forward. All right, team, I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you use this video wisely, and I hope it helps you manage this end part of this first week of September. So Thursday the 2nd and Friday the 3rd. I hope it helps you manage the astro currents a little bit more smoothly. I'll be back again next week with another aspect of the week video. Until then, take care.